Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap. This is Kriss and Dpalm here, and we're here to review, or recap, or discuss The Flash, Season 3, Episode 12, Untouchable. A criminal metahuman is causing people to decompose at an accelerated rate. Yeah, that's okay. We can go with that. I like to call this episode just the Wally West show.
This is it. This is making sure you understand why Wally's here.
Yeah, that's all I needed. Like I'm still not. I'll be honest. I still feel nervous that something's gonna happen to Wally.
Something's gonna happen to Wally.
Yeah, I still. But yeah, this episode was basically a Wally episode, and I fucks with it.
Yeah, I do because it's that, but the rest of the episode, aside from the Wally focus, kind of felt like we've done a lot of this before.
Well, I want to get into some of the problems I had with Iris this episode later on. Yeah. Once we get past the Wally
Iris, I felt like all the characters were doing things that I've seen them do before.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the, but like you said, we've been this before. Like there was even Julian being ultra dickish. It's like, okay, he's been being a dick, but he went Super Saiyan dick this episode, and then
the overcompensation of eventually Caitlin taking the person out.
Right. You had that. You had, and again, we'll go into more detail about this stuff later. The reason why I brought the Iris thing up, the episode, and they've been going around with, it was Iris's idea not to tell Joe. Everybody's telling her that she has to tell, but they need to tell Joe what's going on. So they started the episode with her saying why she doesn't want to tell Joe. It's like, hey, listen, he's about to meet Cecile's daughter. It's a really big deal for him. If we tell him what's going on and what the future holds, he won't be able to focus on that. And it made sense, right? Like, we know it's a bad, it's a bad idea not to tell Joe.
It's a terrible idea.
But the reasoning for not telling him made sense, right? Because we know how Joe West is going to react. And that's fine. Then immediately she goes in, and later on she tells him. And it was just such a stark difference to me. I'm like, well, wait, you were the one, like,
you convinced us.
Right. You convinced Wally and Barry to not tell Joe. And then you're the one that's been freaking out, and you're the one it's that thing where you're with your boy, and like you gotta do something wrong, and he's like, yo, whatever you do, you gotta shut the fuck up, man. Don't say anything, don't get us fucked up, and he's the one that spills the beans. That's what Iris was doing. And it was just so annoying. And then when she tells, I'm just like, but wait, you're literally the one that told everybody else.
Not just told, begged.
Right. You had PowerPoints explaining why it was a bad idea.
You can't tell him.
Right. And I want to say even this episode, it starts with Barry going, hey, maybe we should tell him. Yeah, It does. Barry goes, hey, maybe we should tell him this is not a good idea. We should probably do that. Like, shit, everybody, like even HR knew. And even HR's like, yo, I mean, not this episode, but I think in the previous episode.
Yeah, he's like, y'all aren't telling Joe, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Are we doing this again? Okay. And
I don't want for shit.
I'm not gonna again, I'm gonna get into the Wally stuff and why I enjoy that stuff, but that was the thing that stood the most out to me, right, was her complete 180 on telling Joe. Like it was bullshit. And I feel like the reason why they did that is it does get you a good Joe moment when Joe turns to Barry and goes, you know better. Like, you know what she means to me, and you know why this is a bad idea, and that's why I'm coming harder on you, because everybody else here doesn't know. Like, that was a great moment. I mean, that was, look, Black fatherhood moments, right? We don't say it very often. We haven't been saying it very often this season, but they've been happening, and they're still great. But that was a great moment, and I feel like the whole thing of Iris telling him suddenly was just to get that moment, and it was just annoying.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. A lot of the motivations for the characters in this episode felt weird. Like Caitlin being like, I don't want to save my friend because I might slip on the killer frost. I'm like, hey, save your friend. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, right. Why is that a conversation? You bitch.
Right. Wait. Well, and then the other thing too is like, I still don't. I guess the thing with with Caitlin and the killer frost thing is I'm not sure how this works. Right? Because they made a big deal out of they haven't done a good enough job explaining to us how using her powers is tied to her losing this personality and things like that, and like how that works.
They just keep doing it and not explaining it.
Right, because like I think it was last episode or a couple episodes ago, Cisco and I guess it was a couple episodes ago, Cisco and Julian give her the necklace that can suppress her powers is better than the cuffs.
It's the power. Is it the battery for the cuffs or whatever?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so take it off, use your powers, and put it back on. So like that's my thinking. Now, obviously, it can't be like that, and there's got to be more to it. But that's what I'm thinking in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, save your friend. Take the thing off, use your powers, then put it back on. Like these are the few times you can do that. Now, what I think would have been interesting, would have saved that for me, if they had tied it in and been like, hey, listen, you know what's on the board, you know, Killer Frost comes out. So
right, it's like a guarantee. Make it something that's a bit more weighty.
So, well, what I was thinking they were going to do is, well, wouldn't it be interesting? Is they're trying to change the future and change all these things from happening. What if the only way to do that with her not becoming Killer Frost is if she doesn't use her powers then, right?
Right.
Stuff like that is, and maybe they'll come back to that and that point, and that'll be something that they play on the next couple episodes with. Hey, she had to use her powers. Now she's starting to lose more control because of that, and it's a balancing thing, right? And I think that's a theme that you usually see in some of the things that involve time travel, right? That hey, listen, if Iris doesn't die in the future, then she was gonna die at this point. The only reason why she didn't die at this point is because you had Caitlin use her powers. If Caitlin doesn't use her powers, she dies. But guess what? Savitar doesn't come back and doesn't kill her. Like it's one of those things that is inevitable. So that would have been played, and they did it before. They did that with when the last episode when Gypsy was gonna take HR. Like Barry had that moment where he goes, hey, maybe we let him take maybe if we let her take him, then that changes the future. Maybe then Savitar doesn't come back. Like he had that moment. It was a brief moment, but he had that there. Yeah, he had that brief moment where he had the balance of how much of this is going to change. I didn't like the idea that they were just like, oh, well, just use your powers, okay? And nobody goes, hey, she's on the big board, right? Killer Frost is on the board. Like we've seen that there.
You know how this can very well end.
Right. So and I get at that moment people not saying that, but later on nobody brings that up, and I'm just like, right. It's on the board, guys. Like this is what you're working towards, right? You're running towards this board of changing these events. Well, fuck, one of the things on there is Killer Frost on the loose. That's Caitlin.
Yeah, they could have really made. You're right. That could have been played to a lot more impact.
Yeah, and so I think that's where moments like that this episode don't work. I mean, obviously, I don't want to think these are nitpicking but they're not enough to be like, oh well, fuck the show, because it's still enjoyable as hell.
But the thing, it was enjoyable, but yeah, I agree. I'm not here to denigrate the show. It's just the whole this week felt weird for me. Mm-hmm. Just because a lot of things just felt uneven. Like the girl saying she's so far away from college, the only thing she misses is Kid Flash. He's been around for literally 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, lady, like either he's Kid Flash or you're just a liar.
Yeah. That was one of the, I'm like, wait, how do you?
I was like, it made no sense.
I think maybe what they meant was not that she misses him, and that well, when I was growing up, Kid Flash. Maybe she meant like she wishes she was in the city when Kid Flash was doing his thing. Like she wishes that's what she's literally missing him. Like she's not in the city. She's not in Central City when Kid Flash appears. Like she hates his fucking city.
But that's not.
I know.
The question.
I'm working here, man. I'm trying, man.
Maybe he's right. No. The question was,
I'm trying.
What do you miss about home? She looked her mom dead in the eye and said, "I miss Kid Flash."
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
She looked at her mom dead in the face and was like, Kid Flash.
Yeah. Like, okay. So you grew up around the Flash. It's not the Flash that you like, but like you're just fascinated with Kid Flash. You know what? You know what would have made that better? You know what would have made that work? And when her mom said that, she looked her dead in the face and goes, Kid Flash. Her mom go, but why? You weren't even around. Because he's black.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
right. Like, that's what it was. I mean, let's be honest, yo. You don't feel anything for the Flash because he's a white guy, but Kid Flash is a black guy. You fucks with him. I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't that. Again, there are certain things in this episode I think are done to get certain reactions. Most of those reactions coming from Joe West. So the Kid Flash thing said the inevitable. So Detective West, who would you pick if you had to pick between Flash or Kid Flash? Which is literally asking him to pick between his two, like literally asking him to pick between his two sons.
And I agree with you. Yes, it's kind of naked and obvious.
Right.
Like as we're talking about it, how they were planning it, it did stick out for me.
Oh no, it's when you think about it, it's absurd. It's like, wait a minute, wait, you're right. Like this guy literally just started around here, and you've been in college. You've been in college long enough to realize you don't know what you want to declare as your major, and that to be a problem. All right.
Yeah, for them to ask, this is not your first semester freshman year.
Yeah. So, out of everything you're worried, and it's been 3 years since the particle accelerator exploded, and you've never really given a shit about the speedster running around the Scarlet Speedster,
or your mother. Apparently,
or your mother. Yeah, oh my God, you don't even miss your mother. Like, you're not even missing. Like, what do you miss the most? This random fast black kid that I see running around Central City that's only been around here for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's what I miss. Thanks, daughter.
What do you say to that?
Look. I was already turned off by the daughter when she ordered like some vegan green tea or whatever the fuck she ordered when everybody else is having coffee or something like that.
No, she can never meet HR.
Right.
And they're like, I will fight you, bitch.
Right. Like,
talk about sweet coffee that way.
Oh, look, sweet girl, but like the minute she ordered and come, like you just see everybody else around the table go, I don't know about this. I can't trust anybody who doesn't have regular fucking caffeine. It was just I'll have a vegan.
Couldn't you just said coffee?
Yeah, I have a vegan latte, green tea. What the fuck, man? Come on.
You couldn't have just said coffee this one time. And he was like, this bitch again.
Right.
But she knows her daughter. Like that wasn't a surprise.
Right. I was expecting the and the other thing too was I was expecting the daughter thing to be a bigger issue because it did seem like they weren't hitting it off. And then the Kid Flash thing literally it was just an easy way out. And I'm like, I love Joe West, so I don't want to necessarily see him struggle or have somebody who doesn't get along with him other than criminals. But I think it would have been kind of nice. It would have been a bit of nice little wrinkle to throw it in there to have her kind of standoffish to the rest of the West family. But
I did kind of like the fact that Cecile knew who her daughter was, and her daughter's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, no. I love
like, it's fine.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
And I like that it didn't turn Joe away. Like I like that Joe was like, yeah, I'm still on. Go, yeah, we'll plan for the future.
Oh yeah, Joe is head over heels, yo.
Yeah, Joe's done.
But and again, like so, going back to the Irish thing, like it made sense why I liked that she was like, yeah, we can't tell him because like everything, like, and I guess that's why I didn't like what they did there because everything she said was right. She was like, yeah, if we tell Joe, he'll do everything in his power, and he'll stop going out with Cecile. He'll stop doing all this stuff. He'll stop living. He'll stop being happy. I don't want that for him. So we can't tell him. Like that made sense to me. Like to me, I think it would have been better if Barry or Wally says something. Because to me, it just, I don't know. It just seemed to go back of what we've seen from Iris this
Yeah,
season.
but I think you're right. They were forcing certain things to let Jesse L. Martin act. And while
Yeah.
I'm never going to ever tell them not to do that, it did feel like, are we really doing this? Is really okay, I guess. It felt super forced.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I maybe have someone like who should have told. You know what they could have done. You know who should have told Joe? HR.
Who? Yeah, I was about to
HR.
say that too.
HR. And that would have been the perfect person to tell Joe West because it allows Barry and Wally to be following Iris's lead. It allows Iris to stand by the decision. The decision that, again, outside looking in, wrong decision, but from her point of view, right decision to not
Right. She was
tell
trying to
Joe.
protect her dad.
Not trying to protect her. It's something that she's always done. So it's a
Consistently
theme
throughout the show, yeah.
consistently we've seen her do throughout this show. Consistent there. HR on the other hand, he's the guy. Remember we a few episodes ago when him and Joe were in the car together, and we know how we know how HR is, and we know HR was the only one to be like, this is a bad idea. We need to tell him.
Well, HR found out later. They decided without him. He was like, whoa, really?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a bad idea.
Right. So HR would have been the perfect person to say something and tell Joe, and then Joe come in, and then you get this, and then you get the same effect. You get Joe coming in, looking at Barry, going, "You know better."
Yeah.
And you still get the Jesse L. Martin acting. You still get the whole even at the end. Hey, no more lies, guys. We got to do this together. And the end result of when Joe finds out and is told, oh, I loved because Joe was like, all right, cool, we're gonna do this together, and he didn't. So far, he hasn't overreacted.
But you wish that they didn't have to make the character so dumb to get there.
Yeah, I just wish they had done a better job of doing it. Like again, if you use HR for that purpose, but I think you use HR for that purpose.
He's the wild card.
Yeah,
he's perfect for that.
He's the wild card, and he's the guy you would expect to do something like this. He just is. So, speaking of HR, I also love the fact that listen, HR stands more for Wallace West than his own father does. All right, like nobody is a bigger Wally West fan than HR Wells. All right,
and I'm not saying I care about HR's homeworld, but Vice President Al Capone sounded interesting. I want to hear this man's policies and thoughts on certain. Yeah, he just intrigues me.
Well, I mean, shit. What are the chances that they change it to Al Capone after learning that we have Donald Trump as president? Like when you live in a reality when you live in a reality where Donald Trump is fucking president, does Al Capone does that sound any worse? Like, no, of course. It's like at this point, none of this stuff is shocking anymore. It's like we have fucking Donald Trump as president. It's just
someone around me called him a dumb Lex Luthor with worse hair.
Good God.
And I was like, wow, that's perfect.
Really, oh my God.
Like, huh? Because Lex's big saving grace is he actually is one of the smartest people.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy's a goddamn idiot.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is fucking, oh my God, this is fucking Bizarro world.
Me and Bizarro?
Oh God. Oh my God.
Let's talk some more about this episode because we've had all this conversation about the pacing and kind of the weird forced acting that we didn't even mention the villain who Cisco didn't even name. Like, that's how throwaway this villain was.
Yeah.
Cisco didn't name him. And for those of you who aren't Flash comic book fans, Clive Yorkin is an important name in the mythos. Clive Yorkin was a serial killer who targeted women in Central City. Barry found him over the body of Iris Allen at the time and was going to kill him. It was then discovered that Clive Yorkin stumbled across her body after Reverse Flash had killed her.
Mm-hmm.
So putting Clive Yorkin and Iris West in an episode is intriguing on a lot of levels.
Yes. Yeah, they didn't name him, but I did. Here's the thing. Throwaway villain, didn't name him, but here's the thing. I actually liked that. I liked that he was a product of alchemy, and that he was targeting. Like, I like what they did there. I like the fact that he was targeting former. Cause I didn't even put it together that the first guy he killed that we saw him killed was the former the
chief,
former chief. I didn't even put that together. It didn't even cross my mind until I was like, oh shit.
It's very smart casting by
Right.
the show. Very well
Right.
done. I
Um.
thought it was really interesting that, and again, I'm not banging on the show, but it feels like we did this last year with Jay/Hunter, where he feels responsible for a villain. Caitlin convinces him not to, and they go out for drinks. Like I feel like I saw this episode as said, except it was Zoom posing as Jay, ruminating over the fact that Zoom stole his speed.
True. A difference here is to me. Like, so here's the thing. Do you think Julian becomes alchemy again?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're not done with this.
Okay. All right. And so you think he becomes alchemy again? So here's my next question: do you think he became alchemy to turn Clive Yorkin
No, I think
recently,
Clive was already turned.
or returned? Okay.
I think it happened prior to us getting rid of this stuff. But that'd be a really nice wrinkle if he was doing it and not knowing it now.
Uh huh. Well, he didn't know
That'd be a really
before
nice wrinkle.
because he didn't know before either. So it's like,
That's good.
does he ever? Would he know now?
Hmm.
You know. And nobody suspects him. Like he's got full access at this point.
Yeah,
So,
he is the curmudgeon guy now.
mm-hmm. Yeah, he's such a dick.
He is an irrepressible dick. That's
Like I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of side with him when she was like, oh man, like Caitlin's talking about the body had a name. He was like, it's just no, it's just a
it's
body.
a corpse.
It's a corpse.
Tighten up.
Yeah, come on, like and this, yeah, and then but then when he was working on the when she goes, I now see you. I thought Barry was overreacting when you were talking about sharing an office with you. It was like, now I definitely see that he was not overreacting. Sharing an office with you, sharing a lab with you is terrible because he wants to do everything himself. He's just a perfectionist. So
he's a control freak.
And so you were saying that it feels like the same with what we did with Zoom. You know what could change that? What if, because you know you have two people here that are obsessed with not being the, they feel guilty. Cause I think even what he said to Caitlin, was a lot of truth. What he was just basically like, you know, you're trying to absolve yourself. You're talking about
100%.
me, but that you're also talking about yourself and what you did. Because let's not forget, I mean, you turned into Killer Frost and you stabbed you stabbed Barry in the Achilles. So it's like, come on, like
a little stab,
right?
But
a little stab.
Well, that's a fair point.
Took him a while to heal.
That's true. All this is there's zero lies detected.
So my thing is, could them, like the way I say they make this different from last season is if their obsession with trying to absolve themselves is what actually pushes them to both end up back into their evil selves. You know, because Caitlin wants to find some method and way of getting rid of her powers. Julian's going to help her. What if whatever Julian does and whatever her and Julian work on ends up turning her into Killer Frost permanently and brings him back into alchemy?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's how you do it. Like the way I think we do the way you make it different from what happened with Zoom last year is Zoom was playing everybody, right? He was in control of that, and Hunter's, you know, Jay/Hunter's all him, and he knew what he was doing. He was just lapping everybody up. With Julian and Caitlin, it can be a tragedy because neither one of them wants to be that, and both of them are trying so hard not to be that. We're gonna get to the point, like I can already see what's gonna happen. I think we see a foreshadowing of it with Caitlin, where she's gonna be forced to use her powers to save her friends, and in the end, that's gonna be what's the sacrifice she makes, and it's gonna turn into Killer Frost. Cause basically, almost happened this episode, you know.
Yeah.
So
you're 100% right.
She had to do it to save Iris, and if it wasn't for Julian snapping her back out of it, she's gone.
Yeah.
So, and
it almost, not to say that she wanted to go that way, but going the hero is a pretty good way to go.
Right. And And again, we don't know how we don't know how we don't really know about the connection between Savitar and Julian slash alchemy here. So who
Right.
knows how that comes back? Like, who knows how? Like, there's so many different ways for that. I mean, the box is lost in the Speed Force, but who knows what the fuck happens? Like, we know Jay comes back at some point. Maybe something like there's so many things that can happen there. We don't know how that. We don't know how Julian became alchemy or why. So it's. I mean, we saw the little flashback, but we don't really understand it. So
It's never really been fully explained. Just kind of,
right.
oh, that's something weird that happened, and now that made him. No, we don't know the why. You're right.
Exactly. So God forbid it ever comes back or he gets So that I think that's how you can change it there. Going back to Wally, 'cause like I said, that was the highlight for me is seeing Wally do things. And I like the fact that Barry hit him up and was like, you know what was different between me and you is I'm not being a good teacher, and I'm not training you. Whereas even though it was people that eventually were doing it for ulterior motives and actually were trying to kill him or steal his speed, Barry had two really good teachers.
Right.
Eobot Thawne was a good teacher because he understood the Speed Force. Zoom was a really good teacher because he understood it too. Like, so it's like they both knew more about the Speed Force and about being speedsters. So they were to impart that knowledge on to Barry because both of them were trying to make him faster. So they were able to do that. Barry really hasn't been nobody's really been teaching Wally. The person he's got is, let's be honest, the dumbest one on the team. HR.
Biggest fan though.
Biggest fan. Huge fan of biggest fan. Like about the bet the farm on Wally. Like,
Yeah.
HR has a gambling problem, guys. So I like the idea that Barry understood, like when Barry when Barry first explained how to fade through objects, I was like, yeah, no, that's not how, yeah.
You just kind of do it. Like, that's
Right.
not really
That's not, no.
helpful, Barry.
Exactly. Like, you got to go back to, and I want to say, yeah, you got to go back to when Barry learned how to fade through objects. I think that was the Trickster episode. If I want to say so, I think that was the episode where, like, where Harrison Wells Thawne, like, kind of reveals himself because Barry's like, the way he described it like he could feel, like he understood.
He's like, that's someone who's run.
It's somebody who knows the speed, not just knows the Speed Force, right?
Right.
And you got to think about how he described Barry. So, because I think Barry had gotten a bomb attached to his wrist, and so we had to phase through a truck or something like that to get it off. And that's how he was. Barry's telling Wally, yeah, just like feel around you and like you just connect, and then I'm like, that is not how that fucking works, yo.
We know what he was. He was he's the old NBA star who can't coach because he can't explain what he does to people.
Right.
Like, nah, you just gotta. That's why, like, it's like Jordan trying to coach.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just do it better? Like, I can't. I'm not Michael Jordan, sir.
Oh, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the episode of The Ultimate Fighter where Rampage Jackson was a coach, and he's in the corner and he's telling his fighters like, score points. Score points. Don't let them take you down. And I'm like, yo, that is not how you corner somebody, because that is not helpful information. Score points. Don't let him take you down. Like, that is not.
Never occurred to me.
That is like, right. Don't let him hit you in the face. Oh, thank you, genius. Why not think of that?
You are good.
Maybe I should write that one down. Don't get hit in the face. Oh, okay. Yeah. So. But then even
revolutionary shit there, coach.
And I think the same, just like, beyond describing it, I think Barry also realized that he's got to start giving the confidence to Wally that, let's be honest, the other two mentors he's had gave him until they started to rip it out of him. But up to that point, they were building him up. And there's a lot of times when Barry is not used to, he has some Oliver moments. Like, I'm not gonna lie. His reaction to Iris being hurt, legit. You know, you call me, right? You call me first. Like you don't. I get that reaction. Like I understand. Like, and I'm glad he went and apologized to Wally, but Wally got to understand too. Like that's his girl. That's like I know that's your sister. He's known her longer, technically.
Right?
Technically, she's been his sister longer than yours, Wally. If we're gonna be real. No, she's his girlfriend, which is just again we talk about. This is very weird.
No one else seems to be bothered by
right.
this.
It's very very weird. But yeah, it's like no, you. I don't care how close Wally is. You fucking call Barry. Like you don't.
If he knew better, right?
And I wouldn't even say Wally. I think Cisco knew better. Like Cisco
definitely knew better.
Cisco, you send Wally, but then you definitely call Barry. All right.
Yeah, Wally, go. Barry, get your ass up.
Right. Like yeah. Like if it's Joe or Iris, call Barry. Like
call Barry.
Listen, I'm loving giving the confidence to Wally, but you call Barry on those. You just
why wouldn't you call Barry?
You gotta call Barry. So yeah. So I like that. And I like that we started the episode with the race between Wally and Barry, and I love that they show that hey, Wally's up there in speed.
He's fast.
No, he's fast. Doesn't know how to phase through objects yet, but
no,
he's fast.
He's learning.
He's learning
faster.
Right. So,
which is the plan of the season, by the way. In case we're all forgetting, that was the goal, to make him faster.
Mm-hmm. So love seeing that, and I also love that we again. It's still weird to me that Wally is so much older. Like I get the age difference. Because it's like when you call him Kid Flash, I'm like, but that's a grown ass man, you know?
It's a man. What are you talking about, kid?
Right. So I do wish they had gotten a high school kid at the most.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would have been a better casting choice to get somebody a little bit younger for Kid Flash. But hey, we're here and it's fine.
Exactly. It's where we are now.
Water on a bridge. I'll take it. And again, not saying that Lonsdale is not doing a good job. You know, he is. It's just the age difference always catching me off because I'm just like everybody looks the same age sometimes. But I do like the fact that it differentiate Wally and Barry based off of their skill sets. So yeah, Wally's fast, but I think that somebody even explained this where he's just naturally gifted. It's just that it's like he's got the natural gifts, but he's not really honing them. He doesn't understand how to use them. Like there's even that part where what's his name? Yorkin shows up at Jitters, and like Wally knows he can't touch him, so he has to look up at Barry. And Barry's telling him to kind of generate the wind funnels with his hand to go and do it. Like that's the kind of stuff we need to see more. We need to see, that's how you differentiate between Barry and Wally. Is like Wally's really fast, but doesn't know how to use all these tools that Barry's learned over the last 2.5 seasons. I mean, shit. Barry's fast enough. If Barry understands how to, jump through dimensions.
Yeah, that's it. He visits Earth too.
Yeah, Wally can't do that kind of stuff. And even here in this episode, the focus on phasing. I gotta say, man, when they first started saying they're gonna do Flash, I was like, oh, that's cool. We'll have the speed, but you do realize that the Flash is more than just running really fast. A lot of stuff he can do, man. But they probably won't be able to do all that stuff on TV. So when we got that episode where he actually phased through an object, I was like, holy shit, they're actually going to do phasing. That's pretty nice. And I always wonder how far they're going to go. Barry phasing that fucking train.
Dog.
Nigga, listen.
What?
I don't give a fuck what
we're phasing trains now.
Look. We mentioned the stuff that we didn't like about this episode. Right, I want to get that out of the way because nigga, I don't give a fuck what happened in this episode.
We're phasing trains.
He phased a goddamn train.
I just want to make sure we're all just as a group we've accepted that he's just gonna phase trains now. Okay. All right, I wonder we're all okay with that. That's fine. That's fine.
Like, nigga.
What do I say? What do you say to that? You say fine, fine. He's running. He's phasing trains. Fine, whatever. Sure. Of course he is.
Like because you needed to have something. Because I'm like, okay, once Wally learned how to phase, it's like, all right, then what? I mean, he's not that far behind Barry now. Oh wait, but you can't phase an entire fucking train through debris. Like, cause and I love how they gave us a nod to that one episode. Oh, was it the one episode where Wally saved? Oh no, Barry saved everybody on the train. And it's like one of the first.
It's the first Captain Cold episode.
Yeah, and you're just like, yo, this
motherfucker is fast.
Yeah, that was like, yo, that motherfucker hit the Speed Force. You saw the lightning in his eyes, and he went and got her. You're like, my nigga. This episode, like, there's two of them, and he's like, he got Wally beside him going, yeah, we don't have enough time to get everybody off the train. I'm like, so what the fuck are you gonna do? I'm gonna phase the train.
So they're all going to die?
Right. No, so I'll try to phase the train. What? What?
No. What are you really gonna do, Barry?
Right,
Barry. We got time for jokes, Barry. What's the plan?
Yeah, and then to make it better, then we get Wally phasing through an actual human being.
Yo, what? Like, Kriss, if I told you they're gonna make a Flash show where Wally's gonna phase through someone, did you ever see this coming? Honestly,
no.
Okay, wildest dreams.
No. Hell, I didn't see them having Wally West on the same show as Barry.
Right?
Allen, all right.
So I was like, okay, we got Barry. That's cool.
Right.
I'm a Wally guy. Wally guy. But guess what? Barry's that shit. He's hot in the streets. He's back. I get it.
I didn't want to be greedy.
Yeah, why get greedy? We're getting the Flash. I'm not going to my Flash, but it's the Flash. And, I'm not going to sit here and complain about Barry Allen being on television. No. What do you mean you're bringing in Wally?
Right.
Well, Wally who?
Now we're phasing trains and phasing through people.
Oh. And then let's talk, again, like you said, we had our complaints with the episode. We aired our grievances. Hey, man, does any show kind of like make you want the next one better than some of these Flash endings?
Nigga.
Gorilla City, Jesse Quick, they've got my dad. I was like, let's do hour 2. Let's go, baby.
First of all, when Wally put his hand through the wall, you know what I was actually kind of hoping they would do?
Explode?
I'm not gonna. Yes,
I was like,
I was getting greedy. I'm not gonna lie, I got greedy. I was like,
I got mad greedy. I'm not gonna lie to you either. I got mad greedy.
Please let it explode. And anybody needs to understand that. Go and listen to our character corner on Wally West. But yeah, I was like,
we some nerds, yo. That's funny shit.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was like, I was like, yo, that would be a hot ass ending if he puts his hand through the thing. And then all of a sudden it explodes. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, shows that hey, this is why Wally can't phase through objects like Barry does all the time because he'll explode them, and that can be used to his advantage sometimes, and sometimes that means you can't do it. It's like it changes his power set a little bit, right?
It adds just the slightest wrinkle,
right? It adds a little wrinkle there, right? So when he's doing that, and then I see the portal open up behind him, I'm like, oh shit, is it Savitar? What's going on? Are we going to find out this is why Wally's not around? I'm nervous. Then when motherfucking Jesse Quick comes through, I'm like, son of a bitch. And then she says Gorilla City. Bruh.
I was like, let's do another hour. Let's go. Let's just why wait? Oh, like a Snickers commercial. Hungry?
Like,
why wait?
Do you remember the first time we did a Grodd episode? We were like, oh man, look, the first time they mentioned, you see, it wasn't even the first episode.
It was a cage with the name tag.
Right.
Grodd.
Right. And we were like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. That's nice. Nicer than the then they did the Grodd episode, and you're like, huh. Okay. Not bad. One-time thing. Get Grodd out there. Hey, okay.
But we appreciate it.
Then they did the second Grodd episode, and they really did a Grodd episode.
And I said, quit fucking playing.
Right. And then they mentioned Gorilla City. And you're
No, no,
like,
no. The second guard episode. No, you're right.
yeah,
No, the second one. You're 100% right. Is when they send them to Gorilla City.
yeah. And you're like, huh, that's, we'll never see that though, right?
I knew we'd see it because they did that pan out, like that slow pan out, where it was like they showed us Gorilla City. I was like, yo, you can't do that because now I want to go right now. I know you're not going for a year, but we should just go now. Just seems simpler.
Man, listen, I'm here for it. Okay, you got me. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. All right. Let's see. I do. So, you got anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, just another CW, man. They're knocking it out, and I finally caught up on Supergirl. Holy shit! I won't be falling behind anymore. I was going to let them stack up and watch them all at once, but I can't do that anymore. Yeah, this is a really good run that we're on the CW, and yeah, it did a very good job for the time slot it was in, and what we were asking for it to do.
Yeah. All right. What I have now. This isn't really about the Super Tuesday, but I have an email from Anna. Hi guys, I'm the girl that asked you to do a Hellboy for Comic Book Club, and I'm very excited for it. I have been listening to those in the Character Corner archives. I'm in the middle of the third Rogue episode for Flash, and it's very good. I have a question for Dpalm. If I want to get to it, just a taste for Flash, like a solid run, but keeping in mind I'm not a completionist and I will never read the entirety of a Flash comic. Where do I start? Is there any good miniseries or something that you can recommend?
Wait, you'll never read like one issue? Like you won't get through a whole issue of it?
No. I think like an entire run, but I think like a few issues. She'll never do like an entire series. And be honest, I don't think I've ever done an entire series like that either.
Okay, not an entire series, but I would say we highlighted it in the Character Corner. I think it's been a while. The Jeff Johns run.
Yeah.
He does it goes from, I think, Wonderland arc with Mirror Master and Captain Cold and takes you through issue 200. Or 225, actually. You could probably just go through 200 if you don't want to finish it out. It's a great story. The ending's amazing. But 200's where is the end of the Blitz story arc.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you could stop there. Like, you could legitimately stop there, but
wait,
the next one
isn't Blitz is the start of the Blitz, right?
I'm sorry, it's the end of
end of the Zoom arc, right?
Right, the Zoom arc. I forget what it's called. Yeah. I thought it was Blitz. Maybe it's
not.
I
think it's Blitz. You're right. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I
would go from the beginning of Jeff Johns' run to Blitz because intersplicing there, of course, like you're going to get lots of great Wally moments, but Jeff had those rogue spotlight issues.
Exactly.
That really let you flesh out the Rogues Gallery, and he kind of rebuilds it from kind of the not weirdness, but like kind of the little left field place that Wade and Morrison had taken it. He recenters. That's one of Johns' biggest talents, that he's able to recenter on the internal concept of a character. So if I would suggest anything, I would suggest just his run. And if you're not afraid of being a little confused, Flash Rebirth is really good.
Yeah.
If you're not afraid of being like, I'm going to go into this and it's a little continuity heavy, so I'm probably going to be a few questions. If you're okay with just kind of being along for the ride, that one's fun because you also get the those races for charity, Clark.
Yeah.
You get that line, which is
I'm looking at Flash Blitz was 192 to 200. Yeah, those are the Zoom ones, and then Rogue Wars was 220 to 225. Those are both
those are two micro runs, small sections of Johns' run that you could read in a weekend and get a good feel for the Flash. Though we're giving you also like two of the bigger arcs that the Flash ever had. So
yeah, and I think that works. I mean, it's not a lot of issues. We're talking about what
192 is what?
Yeah,
13 issues.
13
total?
issues. Yeah, 13 issues, and that'll get you a good.
And once you read those two, you're gonna want to read everything. But you'll be like, wait, how did we get here then?
Yeah, you're gonna run.
It's just natural.
Yeah, the entire. I mean, I think his entire run is what 192 to, like you said, 192 to 225.
No, his entire run is.
Oh no, it's further than that. You're right. It's before that.
170.
Yeah, you're right.
7?
Yeah.
160 something. See, this is why we can't do this when I don't have, because I know I'm close.
Yeah, go back and there's the character corner we did on Wally West. It's like the second character corner.
It's our first one.
Oh, you're right. It's our first one. Our first character corner, and then the more recent one is the Flash Rogues one.
Because you listen to that now, so yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you listen to that one. Oh, that's right. You're listening to that, so you'll have those issues. I think we covered it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely covered it.
Yeah. The third rogue. Yeah, you're listening to the third rogues are for Flash. Yeah. So if you're doing that, those arcs we have there, Rogue Wars and Blitz are covered in that. Those are the two big ones that are in that. They're in that character corner. So do that. And you'll
Stay with me for 2 seconds. I want to get this right. The Flash John's first issue of the Flash was. This is bugging the hell out of me. I can't find it. Never mind. I'm just going to be mad at myself because I can't figure it out right now. All right.
Well, finish your email. Also, please tell me you're going to do a comic book club of Lost Light when there are more issues out. I want your perspective. Transformers is the reason I found you all in the first place. Thank you for hours of entertainment.
Welcome aboard. I wasted a lot of money this week on Transformers. Like, I'm supporting the franchise. I'll just say that.
Yeah. All right, folks. There you guys have it. Super Tuesday recap. iTunes, Stitcher. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and we'll read it on air. Send us emails, mtrailerreviews@movietrailerreviews.net. We'll talk about it there. You can check out Dpalm on the Unanimous Decision, also on the MTR Network. And we'll be back this weekend with the first part of our Green Lantern Character Corner. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll also do a Super Tuesday recap on Arrow and Legends tomorrow. So, again, guys, thank you guys very much for listening. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.